Yo, this is the Guys Podcast. Another episode. I got my brother Tari, Muhammad, and we're here to discuss. So this topic right here, I came up with because I've been hearing, and it's unfortunate that we still live in a time. Whereas that, well, not still live in a time, but we live in a time that most women today, most modern day women, still don't have a fucking clue about what men want, what it takes to be attractive to the kind of men that they want. And you'll often see women that bypass their youth, uh, the part of their life when they're their most fertile, most beautiful, their youngest, all the things that men look for in a woman, the things that they they tend to overlook. Right, so a woman will go to college, get an MD, PhD, get a PhD, MBA, then come back and say, "Okay, I'm educated. I got the bag. I got the promotion. Now I'm looking for a man." And what happens is you start to hear women promote their degree without understanding and having a husband degree. And I just want women to understand, like, being successful in the working world, being a boss bitch, making money doesn't qualify you for the man, doesn't automatically qualify you for the type of man that you want. And that's because the reason why we have this disconnect is I don't think women really care. And I think that they listen to older women push this feminist agenda. So they go to chase the bag. They bypass all the things that make them valuable to the kind of men that they want. And then when it's all gone, they'll come back and say, "Now I'm looking for a man." Ty, what do you think about that?
Um, yeah, that's the episode we did the other day with uh the extra credit homework one, basically explaining that you can't tell someone how to grade you. So you're telling me I'm supposed to like what you tell me I'm supposed to like. Or you like something, you want me to like something in you because you like those things in me. And that's not how it works. A man and woman is almost like two different countries trading. We have different currencies. So you don't pay me in the currency that you want to pay me in. You pay me in the currency I ask for. Um, so women don't pay men in the currency that we ask for. That's how I look at what you're saying.
Nah, that's a fact. Yo, where do you see it going, Tyree? Do you think that things will change and women will start to like smarten up so that they can become wives, or you think it's going to get worse? Like, because that, like, we both know, why it's happening the way it's happening, but it's like, what's the solutions? Like, do you think women are gonna switch up and go back to prioritizing being in a relationship, having a husband, or you think it's gonna continue to be the way it has been?
So I think that it will get worse and then get better. Um, that's literally like the saying, it has to get worse before it gets better. I think that applies to this situation. I think it's going to take for women to pretty much be completely in a man's role to realize that they don't want to do it. It happens a lot with women who reach 40 years old and are 50 years old and they've been providing themselves for a long time. They like, I think collectively, those women will start to speak out and they will probably start re-educating younger women into not believing what they were told. That's what I hope happens. That's what I think is going to happen. I think that's what's starting to happen now. I know so many women who say that they hate that they have to be independent, that they would prefer to be the housewife now. I just think it's one of those things where when you are so far removed from the chaoticness of the old world where marriage and families were more necessary,
Mhm.
that you move it to a more modern time where women don't have to deal with men in the same way because in their mind, I can go to the market, I can call the cops. All of these jobs have been outsourced to a degree, not until like the pandemic when women needed men again and they started to realize having a man in the house is important again. But again, that's what I'm saying. Serious, like you don't see this shit in third world countries. You know what I mean? Like you don't see this type of dynamic in third world countries because women have a clear understanding of what a man's role is, and you could say it's also the laws and some of those countries, it's the laws, and we can talk about why those laws exist. That's a separate conversation. But in countries where, even if you want to go to like very underdeveloped countries, you don't really see these type of things. Um, so I think that in the Western world, what's going to happen is women are going to slowly but surely take over and become as much of men that they want to be. Like they're going to fight for as much men rights or what they think men do. And then when they finally get to wear the shoes of men, they'll realize how much it sucks. But it's going to take a while, I think. I think it's
Yeah.
going to happen, but I think it's going to take a little while because I like there's certain things like because a woman's experience, even a woman doesn't always get to fully experience what it is to be a man, even though she's doing all of these independent and masculine things. Like, there's still certain things like the woman, the experiment of the woman who killed herself for like, after she pretended to be a man for a little while, right? Like, so like I would say that even women who are acting in this role, they're not getting the full masculine experience yet, but it's slowly but surely coming. One of the things that I see is that men don't approach women anymore, and that's making women angry. Men are not trying to go the whole 50-50 thing makes people angry, you know what I'm saying? So the as men slowly start to say, okay, if you don't need us so bad, just do it yourself. And that's what we're doing. That's what men are doing. It's like if a father was taking care of his child and the child was like, you don't do this for me, you don't do shit for me, like, and the dad goes, you know what, okay, I'm just gonna stop doing all of that shit and let you handle it. And then the kid at first, he probably loves all of the freedom that comes with the dad getting off of his back, and all of the freedom that comes with being able to do what he wants. And then he starts to realize as he takes on the burden of being the parent, like, yo, you did do a lot for me. Like that's what it seems like. This is how I imagine like a sitcom episode. Like this whole long thing between men and women is like a sitcom episode of a kid trying to fucking like who's undermining the importance of what their parents do. That's how I look at it. It might
I,
sound fucked up saying it like that, but that's how I see it.
yeah, what you said is so important. Like, I think they're cosplaying certain gender roles. They get to pick and choose what gender roles they want to, embody. But they still, the ones that kind of benefit them, they'll take on. But the ones that really, really put their feet to the fire, to where is that they have to really, really sacrifice and really put in work. I don't think they tend to want those gender roles, and that's the problem. But like you said, it's going to get worse before it gets better. Yeah, man. I just don't like if you're gonna do the crime, do the fucking time. Like if you're gonna bypass the shit that men like and men value in you the most, don't cry for a fucking husband when you're older, right? Don't shame younger women for dating the kind of guys that you want but you can't get because you're getting um, aged out the market or you can't compete. So it's like if you make your fucking bed, lay in it. Right. Men, and a lot of times when a man tells a woman, these are the things I value, these are the things that I want, he'll tell her, and she doesn't respect it. She thinks that he's being disrespectful because he doesn't value her education. So, I mean, hopefully, you'll start to see more women with stories to tell, um, and that can lay the foundation for them to like actually let the younger woman know, like, yo, listen, you have to approach prioritize being a wife just as much as you do getting a college degree. Because the birth rate is already down too, bro. And a lot of times you're gonna see what's gonna happen is women are such big on nurturing that they still want to be nurturers and they still want something to provide to nurture. Like a woman, typically you see women who are not mothers, they tend to get pets, they tend to get plants and shit because they need something to be rich. Seeing a lot of single mothers pop up because of artificial insemination, and then you're gonna start to see a lot of the things that happen within historic, communities historically didn't have fathers. You're going to start to see that shit play out in other communities now that are more affluent. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro. If they have other options to have children, I don't know if they'll ever come around, bro. Like, why would they need to when the world is becoming more modern, egalitarian? I don't see why where it'll ever be a need for it to really change, bro.
It will change when women have to care about what men want. That's when it will change. I don't know when that point will happen, but when women have to care, but here's the thing, you don't have to care about what men want because you'll always find another man who will meet the criteria
Mhm.
of, so whatever it is. You could just like, okay, I only like men who buy me flowers.
Mhm.
There are going to be men who are going to say, okay, I'll just buy her flowers. And the men who don't, you'll say, I don't deal with those men. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with flowers, but you can substitute flowers for anything. I will
Mhm.
only deal with a man who does this. I will only deal with a man who does that. And so because they have the optionality to be able to just go find the man that's doing whatever, they can still be whoever they want to be. This is
Mhm.
why you can say, like, a woman who makes fucking $500,000 a year is still going to say, I want a man makes more than me. She's just gonna have to go find, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like until it gets to the point where they realize, like, yo, the only way I'm gonna have a man is if I'm gonna probably have to step into the masculine role. You see women doing that now. Like, there's women who are fucking sugar mommies, I guess, for niggas. And I
But
think when it gets to,
that shit is super rare. It's not like it's not.
it's rare, but what I'm saying is it's gonna get to a point where a lot of these women, the only way you're gonna probably be able to have a man is to be the man in the relationship. And what, because it's like, I don't know how far it's going to get to that point, because I would hope that men don't leave their roles so much that they would let women take care of them and shit like that. But the only way I could really see a woman going back to doing what she's doing is like, it's literally like a TV show, like when you swap shoes. They're swapping shoes, but they're getting the pick and choose which part of a man they want to be. When they
Women
get to fully,
50, bro. They don't want 50-50. So you think they're gonna take the predominant
I
breadwinner?
mean, I'm saying, but this is the only, because I'm trying to think what conditions can I create that will make it go back to the way it used to be, right? Like that's what I'm thinking. The only conditions I could think is if you fucking get rid of all the technology today, like fucking EMP, the whole world, we got to go back to hunting, then all this shit is cured, right? That's one way I think all this shit is cured. The only other way is if women somehow, some way, I don't know how the future is, but if women have to fully, like, if we fully switch roles in society where somehow men stayed at home and all of this shit and women had to go be providers and protectors and go do that shit, eventually they would hate it. They would realize that they're not physically built to do certain things. And we would start to realize that we've been given skills based off of our gender that kind of determines the role we're supposed to play. Like, it wouldn't make sense for the person with weaker bone density to go out and do physical things. But
Nah.
until like it becomes like we have to do it that way, which I guess it never could really get to that point because we'll always protect them from really having to fully experience manhood. You know what I'm saying? I don't. That's the only way I could think. Like I said, we lose all the technology, or we become a third world country tomorrow. You'll see a lot more women and men getting married. You will see a lot more women respecting men. You will see a lot more of everything will go back to normal.
Yeah, look at the Ukraine. All the women left, and all the men they're fucking fighting against Russia. So yeah, man. I think, like you said, if the only way is if we turn into a third world country, when the point where we lose all modern day technology, and have to go back to like square one. I think that's when. But right now, I think because of modern day medicine, they're able to prolong a woman's like back the clock. Women now are able to have kids older. They're able to like in vitro, all of this shit. So I don't know, bro. I don't think it'll ever, like you said, man. It's gonna get, like you said, it's gonna get
It's
worse
going to
before it
take
gets.
a while, bro. And I don't know what has to happen. And this will be the funny thing is the funny thing will be watching how it happens because it's almost like nature. And I think nature is this way of like, it's going to correct. Like, it's going to correct. It's going to like get crazy, but then it's going to correct to how it's supposed to be. Or else we're going to die out because this is not an optimal way for a species to be. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, technology will help us with a lot of that, but
No, but the
I don't
birth rate,
know.
bro. The birth
The
rate.
birth rate is down. The birth rate is down. And I'm
Look at
thinking
Japan,
like, well, if we become, I'm
bro.
trying
They're
to think
paying
about
men
this on both sides. Go ahead, my fault. Go.
in certain countries in Asia right now. Like they're having problems with like reproduction. They're paying men to come over there to get women pregnant, bro. It's fucking crazy.
So
And
then
you look at
already
Japan.
we're losing,
Japan has a big feminist scene. Same thing with Korea. They have a big feminist fucking movement, bro. It's crazy.
which I wouldn't even think is true. I wouldn't even. I gotta look. Maybe we should watch a video on that next time and react to like what feminism in Japan looks like. Because I'm
Yeah,
curious. Because you would think that Japan wouldn't have none of that shit, but
very radical. I'm talking about like
I gotta look. I want to look into that, bro.
Netflix. There's a no. I'm lying. No, it's not Netflix. As a matter of fact, it was one of these YouTubers. They covered the They did a reaction video, and he let the shit play. It was like a long video, and it's a huge like it was started off small, but now it's picking up steam, and a lot of they're now their membership is growing. It's fucking huge in Korea, bro. Like
Did
wow.
not know that, my nigga. I did not know it was feminism in Japan. Like I would think that and but because I would think those
So
are one of the more stronger cultures of where like we don't play like men on. Yeah, I don't, shit.
there's a lot, bro. There's a lot of liberal, left leaning steam picking up all over the world. You know, it's global. Like India has a big feminist movement. So that's what I'm saying. Like even if men want traditional wives now, bro, they have to go to like the fucking village of these countries. Like back in the day, passport bros, I'm leaving the US to now like go get a wife with traditional values. Nah, bro, you're gonna have to go to like a village of the country you're going to. It's not just good enough going to like these countries now. Colombia, you know, feminist is global, bro. I'm sorry, feminism is global, bro. And America is like the thought leader on a lot of things. So now, even with this, you know what I'm saying, Ty?
That shit is scary when I'm really thinking about it. It's like where can you go? Like and it's like
Bro, there's hijab
and it's
girls
like
right now. Wait, hold on, Ty, hold on, wait. There's hijab girls twerking, bro. Like, I'm free, liberation, sexual liberation. It's crazy, bro. Sexual
and
revolution is
then this
fucking
shit just seemed like all fun and games. It's crazy how propaganda, how media works. Like shit just be stuff that kids enjoy for just fun, bro. Like music, and fucking culture and movies. And
it's
this is what's changing TV
over.
shows, fucking Zeus
It's always,
Network. These are the things that are changing people, bro.
it's always been movies and music, right? And messages. But now I think the phone, where you can pick up a phone and see what motherfuckers are doing here, there. Because I think culture shifts when it's your peers doing it. Like when you see people who look like you, your age group and your religion doing the opposite of what you were raised to do, and you see like some pseudo success, you're more I think you're more likely to do that than watching someone on TV. Well, TV too, but I think now because you have like the global marketplace of dating markets and like just social media picking up you got Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok and all of this shit, bro. It's crazy, bro.
Here's a stupid thought. Would you think like because when I look at liberal thought process, conservative thought process, I think father, mother. And
Mm-hmm.
all I can see in this is just why it's so dangerous to let emotional creatures lead nations or like or even influence men. Because really it's just we we have gotten to a level of degeneracy that has come from us trying to listen to what we think is the weaker class or trying to be like as a man we're supposed to be protectors of the weak, so we try to take into account that what they're saying,
Yeah.
and there's like and listening to what they're saying and trying to make them you know be okay in society. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As a leader, I would hope you want your people that you lead to be okay, but at what point have we gone to like these are everything having to do with liberal just seems so it is just emotion based. I feel like this, so it should be like this. Call me this. I'm this now. It's all of this. It's just so chaotic, bro. Like when I start thinking about it, it's just so chaotic. It just goes like when you really thinking about it, it's just like why are we allowing this shit? Like like that's how I feel, like it. And I'm obviously, what can you really do about it, right? What the fuck is the answer unless men collectively just say stop it? But you can't do that because it sounds crazy. There's people who fucking talk about that shit all the time. Like you can't just take people rights away. But it's
Can't.
just like what what
I mean,
should
I don't.
we should start reviewing rights based off of what impact it has on society, and then be able to take rights away that we can determine negatively impact society.
Yo, bro, I was reading some things now that they're about to decriminal. I don't know if this is true. I have to do more research on it, but they're about to decriminalize pedophilia now. So whereas that before it was criminalized, now it's going to be more so like a mental illness. To whereas that they get counseling and coaching and reacclimation to
It's the
society.
degeneracy, bro. It's like the freedom, too much freedom, bro. Like there is a such thing as too much freedom.
Yeah,
Like
bro. I don't know, bro. This is another topic. We have to dig deep into this. But I think, yeah, man. I think sometimes you have to protect people from themselves.
Nigga, yes, nigga, there's too much freedom. And the thing is, you know what's crazy? It's crazy. We have been built and conditioned so much, nigga, that I even feel crazy saying this. Like, this is radical to say, like, yo, you should not have too much freedom because you're gonna make bad choices. And like and the thing is like, nigga, okay, we gave you the option. Like, we gave it as men, and I can see men doing this. Like, I look at it as a collective, and I can see men doing this because I would do this. You complain so much about hating how life is. We gave it to you how you want. Now you hate it now. So it's like, what the fuck?
I think it's an agenda behind it. Like, that's another topic too.
That's another topic too. But I'm saying that we as men, because we as men collectively are starting to like agree to some of the bullshit, and I think it's a part of it. Some niggas really.
I don't think
some niggas is really doing it because they believe that shit, and I think that's a mating tactic.
No, I think it's an economical agenda behind it. I think it's an agenda to control and to have access to more.
Yes, but that's at the top. But how do you get regular motherfuckers to co-sign this shit, bro? Like, how do you get
from the top? Then you can push propaganda. You can push.
Yeah, you make it cool to be this way or to be this like
because who owns like a lot of the media corporations, right? Are owned by the people at the top. So if you're at the top, you can cancel people for not pushing your agenda. You can make it dangerous to say the opposite of what you want people to say.
I agree with you, but how do you get to the point of brainwashing to the point where men are scared to even say what's true anymore?
Because I
like
told
that shit.
Job, you can lose your livelihood, you can lose even your wife and kids, right? You can lose so much. So I think sometimes.
So do we actually believe this shit? Like, because because there's some men who say this shit, and like there are men who argue I believe in protecting women, but there are some feminist points and ideas that I see men get online and argue that I'm like, how do you get to the point where that's what you believe?
But also too, you have to understand a lot of it is virtue signaling, white knighting. A lot of that's a mating strategy, right? Being pro-feminist is who's at the you gotta understand, being at a women's rights sexual revolution march, you might come up and get some dates. Right, that's a strategy too. I'm going to march with women for their right to be sexually liberated. A lot of times women are protesting naked with their breast out. Men are there just like a Trojan horse. They're in a Trojan horse, bro, looking to sleep with the women. So everyone has their own.
So who should women be more afraid of? Should you be afraid of someone who will let you do degenerate things just to get closer to you, or the niggas who's trying to tell you what's right? Like, you know what I'm saying? The nigga who's next to you telling you, yeah, do that shit because he wants to take part in your body.
It's like talking to a person. Which parent are you cooler with? The one that lets you have fun, stay out late, eat ice cream, or the one that's whipping your ass, like punishing you because they care, because they want you to be better? I mean, everyone's going to be able to see the truth later, but it might be too late at that point. And then with the structure of the house, which is society, and comparing it to like a family, the structure of the house it'll be degraded. It'll be dilapidated, and it'll be broke down to the point of unrepair. So, bro, I don't think nothing happens by chance, Tyree. I think everything.
So
happens.
What do you do? Do you let them just enjoy the chaos until they don't want it anymore? Like, what do you do?
What you do is you got to get with like-minded people and reproduce with people who are like-minded and raise healthy, strong children to adulthood, bro. It's the only thing you can do. You can't control.
Bro, we live in a broken society now, nigga. It's hard to find people who have good upbringings. At this point,
it's hard, but not impossible. So
it's not impossible, but I think there's more broken people than people not broken at this point.
There's always going to be people doing the easy
thing. Or people with people. I won't say broken, but people who've been like you can't say, oh, just date a girl who came from a 2-parent household, because there's not enough of those. You can't say.
But men are fed up now, and you start to see that men are starting to be more right leaning. Men are like, I think a lot of times when you think about it, right, the liberal politicians, they forgot about the young men who are disenfranchised, the young men who don't have a voice. Those young men were looking for leaders. They were looking for a voice because they didn't have anybody to look to. And that was a big fucking mistake, overlooking them. And I think that actually was a big turning point within the presidential race. And I think these young men are fed the fuck up because they're demonized for being men. They're demonized for being masculine. They're demonized for having masculine values, and no one's speaking to them. And we speak to the woman who feels lost, right? We speak to different groups of people who feel lost and disenfranchised, but they forgot about healthy young men who just want to be comfortable within their masculinity. So I think when men are fed up, that's when you'll start to see a change, bro. But yo, we gotta have another talk about this, bro. This is a good conversation.
Yeah, word. I mean, there's a lot more things that we could branch off into, but I could just end it with I don't see an end in sight, but I know how it should end because nature always has a way of correcting. And if we don't
Mhm.
correct, we're gonna die out. So like that's how I look at it. Like there's no way we can survive as a species completely living backwards like this. So it's either gotta correct or we're gonna die out. So that's what I ended on.
Yeah, bro. Um, this was a good talk. Some good insights. Thank you for sharing your opinion, bro. I appreciate you. We're gonna come back in and add more to this topic. I love this topic. It was a good topic, and it's so relative to what's going on today, and it's meaningful. So yeah, bro. Appreciate you, Brody.
Yeah, we're God's podcast, man.
Till next time. We
Capture
out.
Media.
Peace.
Peace.